let's see how long this Santa's hat will last on my head for the duration of the video. I might just take it off. I mean, hey, did you expect anything else from me? Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are watching this video, then you are either thinking of or have written a children's book. If you're new here, my name is Killian Wolf, author of the urban fantasy series Castilian Blood, and now the author of the new children's book, Little Krampus and the Magical Sleigh Ride. So my last video was on how to write and publish your children's book. This one is part 2, how to market your children's book in 6 simple steps. Okay, this is falling and it's annoying me, and yeah, just let them breathe. Let them breathe, girl. Much better. All right, let's get started. For step 1, I recommend you develop your brand and your categories first. Categories are the ages of your readership. In your case, yes, they are parents, but the parents are buying for their children. So what age is your book intended for? More on that on part 1. If you haven't seen it yet, I urge you to pause this video and go over there because I explain all about categories. For mine, this book is a picture book for children ages 2 to 8. The next thing is develop your brand. For me, because I already write fantasy novels, I decided to write children's books based on characters in folklore, fantasy, and magic. So I am creating a new brand from the beginning, yes, a new mailing list. I'm finding parents and readers through there, but I can't forget that a lot of the readers on my main niche category for my novels are also parents who would also like fantasy. So it's easier for me to say, hey, I'm doing this and this and this on my main brand, but you might also be interested in Little Krampus. It wouldn't make sense if I were writing a how to learn your ABC books for children and then try to market over to that fantasy category. No, not at all. So find your niche. What are you writing your children's books on? And then that will help you when you are doing your keyword research. And when you're finding your niche, ask yourself questions like, what kind of characters are you writing? Do your books carry a lesson? If they do, what kind of lesson are they carrying? Does each book have a different type of lesson fit into one category? Are all books teaching the same lesson? This will all help you with your category research for Amazon, your category ads, as well as your keyword research when you're looking up other authors of similar books to target. More about that later though. Step 2, and if you're already an author, you may be familiar with this one, is you need a mailing list. It is not enough to just have a social media account, Instagram, Facebook. Yes, they are all great platforms to reach parents and readers, and it's also a great platform to collect people into your mailing list. You can definitely do that by running ads, by using a reader magnet, and yes, this is a loss leader, so you'll be spending a little bit of money, but it's worth it because your mailing list is everything. These are the real customers who are not just scrolling and hitting like and thinking about it for maybe tomorrow. No, these are the real customers who have joined your mailing list because they are interested in hearing from you. So whenever you have an update, or you're selling a book, or maybe you're creating character merchandise, or you're throwing a virtual book signing, or whatever it is, you have your audience that you can deliver this information to directly to their inbox. So this is incredibly important. Please don't skip this step by just thinking that, oh, you'll only do ads, or oh, you will only try to reach people through Instagram. Those platforms are great, but the number one important thing to have is your mailing list. And the best way to collect readers and parents and people who will buy your book into your mailing list is organically. Yes, it is the slowest way, but if you are working on ads to sell your book, eventually there will be a snowball effect. And the more ads you do, the more people who buy your book, when they open up the cover, you should be having something that says, get this for free by joining my list here. Let's do the paperback because I don't want to mess up my little display, but I will show you an example. I have here in my author bio, right here, subscribe to her mailing list for free coloring pages and activities sent right to your inbox. And then I have my Instagram account, and I also have my website where people can go ahead and subscribe. And I also mention my Instagram account because right up on your bio, that is also something you should be advertising. When people reach your Instagram bio or your Facebook bio or whatever platform you use, you should have something in your bio that says, get these free coloring pages by clicking here. And all you need to do is join my mailing list in order to get them. And that's it. That's another avenue of getting people to your list. I got a little carried away on step 2 because step 3 is on how to work with your mailing list, how to get people in there and how to get them to stay and keep them engaged and buy your book. So I'm going to elaborate on that now. Ask yourself, within your niche, what can you create that is something that children will want to do and something easy for the parents? So for instance, I'm doing coloring pages because I published this book right at the beginning of November, and it's a Christmas book, so I have a very small window. So coloring pages was something easy that I was able to just ask my illustrator and said, hey, will you be able to, by chance, give me some blank, no colored copies of the illustrations, a few of them, so that I can give them away as coloring pages? And she said, of course, yes. And she gave me just beautiful outlines of her sketches, and that is what I'm using as coloring pages. Some illustrators might charge you extra for this, or others, because you've already paid for illustrations, will just give them to you as they're easy to produce. Something else you can do depending on what your niche is. If you are writing a book on how to learn your ABCs and you have characters illustrated holding each letter or whatever, you can have the traces where the kids can trace each letter and have your character next to them. And those can also be for coloring. These are very simple, easy things that you can do. For next year, I want to create a very easy to do advent calendar and try to get people into my list that way. I have a whole year to work on it, so it's fine. But yeah, people love activities, and when it comes to children's books, unlike novels, you don't want to give away a free book because the production of a children's book can cost a lot more than the production of a novel. Yeah. And usually, typically, parents, they want to buy a physical copy and not ebook. Not saying that parents don't purchase the ebook versions. If you want to give away ebooks that way, then that's fine too. But keep in mind that not everyone will care for a free ebook to join your list. Some people would prefer to see the inside before they think of buying, but they can just do that by the view preview on Amazon as well. So I do suggest creating something that the kids would want and that the parents can do with the children. Now, once you have people in your list, I suggest emailing at least once a week. I know it seems like a lot. Twice a month is okay. Less than that, not so much. People do forget who you are. Don't worry about people unsubscribing. If they unsubscribing and they only subscribe for a freebie, which when it comes to children's books, usually they bought the book already. but you never know. If they unsubscribe, they weren't your customers to begin with. Okay, these emailing services like MailChimp and MailerLite, after you get about 1,000 or 2,000, depending on which one, of subscribers, you have to pay money to keep your service going. So you want a strong group of people who are actually your customers, who are keeping engaged, who are clicking on your emails, even if they don't buy something every single time, but they're clicking on your emails. That means that they are still interested and invested in you. Everyone else who's never clicked an email before and they're just being dead weight on your list, get rid of them. Delete them. If they unsubscribe, goodbye. Don't worry about that. Just keep reaching people. Just keep reaching people. That is your goal. Don't worry about unsubscribers. You want people to unsubscribe if they're not really doing anything for you. One question I get asked a lot is, but Killian, what do I email these people? I only have one book out, or I have 2 books out, but I don't know what to email parents about my book if they already know the contents. What, they don't care about me as an author. What do they want to know? Well, again, think about your niche. Because my brand is on folklore and my character is Krampus, my emails will be around that theme. Did you know that in December 5th, Krampus and Saint Nick used to work together to look for children who are naughty and those who are nice? Cute, funny, quirky things that they can also read to their children. Make it PG, make it fun. The people who are going to look for Krampus stuff, they like that dark fantasy stuff, and they like ways to make it fun and not scary for their children so that they can all enjoy it. That might not be your niche. I mean, obviously that's fine, but if you are writing, for example, I'll use again the ABCs, then your mailing list, what you should be sending them should revolve around education and early learners and that sort of thing. So that is why it's so important from the beginning to really find your brand. What is your brand about? Whatever you're writing about, that is your name attached. That is your niche, your category. So whatever you're writing about, send things that are similar. Something else to do, which is really great also for building your list up, is to hop onto platforms like BookFunnel and Story Origin and do swaps. Just like novels, there is a tab on Story Origin for children's books, or join Facebook groups, and you can still, join mailing list swaps so that you are promoting other people's books. And in this case, I could definitely promote someone's early learner book also for mine, but it does help to add more of your category if you find books that are of your category and do swaps with them, because those are the type of readers or parents who will want to open up and buy each author's books. That way you're growing your list. Check out these books. Maybe you'll want to join their mailing list for their free coloring books or their free whatever, and try to get more reviews that way. And there's all sorts of things that you can do with swaps. Even if your book is on KU, there's a tab on Story Origin to get KU reads, and then you send out emails to your list. Those authors in that list will send out your book over to their list, and it's on KU, so they're just gonna read them and get you page reads. That was a mouthful. And also, once again, I got ahead of myself, because step 4 in my list is to join promo groups on Facebook. These groups, there are so many of them. Go out and explore Facebook for children's books and marketing, children's books and reviews, children's books and illustrations. There are so many groups out there, and read all of their rules. A lot of times you will be able to do newsletter swaps with these, well, not a lot of times, plenty of times, with other children's book authors, and you can request reviews and do all sorts of things, do launch parties, virtual launch parties. I did one for this one and that was a lot of fun. I did sell a few copies, so it was successful. So yes, and on Instagram as well, there's a few promoters on Instagram that if you reach out to them, they will take pictures of your book, or you send them posts and they will go ahead and post to their giant audience. Number 5 is outreach. Do not be afraid to go visit libraries and bookstores pitching your book. You are an independent author and this is your own company. Take a copy, go in person, shake hands with whoever is in charge, and let them know that you have a book and you would love it if their store carried it. The worst they can say is no. How many bookstores are there in this world? Just go to the next one. Don't worry if they're like, no, we only order from traditional publishing companies. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so don't take it personally. Usually they just don't know that we have legit distribution companies like Ingram Spark, and that's really what they mean and what they're looking for. So don't worry about it. Just go somewhere else. But many times they will be happy to do so. If you use Ingram Spark, then as you know, they have a 55% discount to retailers, and retailers are very appreciative of that. If you distribute yourself and you have an off printer elsewhere, then just keep in mind that you want to be treating these bookstores the same way and offer them a 55% discount, or your choice, however much of a discount you may want. Bookstores usually, I think they get a 55% discount. Not always. I have heard that 35% still gets your book sold, so maybe you can negotiate a little bit if you want, but don't be afraid to do some outreach. Libraries, they're gonna say yes. Have a reading. My mother published a children's book, and a few years ago I read to a group of children for her Spooky the Ghost Dog, and that was exposure for her. So it's a fun thing to do anyways for the community, and that way you get your book out and kids will be able to get their hands on your book. Woo, that was a mouthful. I talked my head off in this video with marketing. As you can see, there is a lot to be said on this topic, so if you have any questions at all, please leave it down in the comment section down below. I will leave all of the links I talked about in the box down below, whatever you call it. And yes, that is it. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe, please. It helps me with the algorithm. I have a goal of reaching 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm almost there. So it would really be awesome if you enjoyed this video to subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.